Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse One here. I hope everybody's doing well. Obviously it is Sunday night, so I'm looking forward to having this chat. We're going to talk about who you can count on. Who can you count on? We're going to get into that in a little bit. Before we get going, I just want to remind everybody that if we have any kind of interruptions this evening, I will get right back on as soon as I possibly can. And so just letting you know that ahead of time, so just be aware. It has happened before, and it probably will happen again, okay? So I'll get right back on as soon as I can. A lot of times, if there is the first one's done, a lot of people do not get a second notification that I'm back on. If you have to go to the channel and look, but I will be right back on within a minute or two. So just putting that out there, okay? I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel, and so please be decent in the chat with each other. No racism, no nastiness will not be tolerated. The awesome people that you see lit up in blue will boot you out of here if you do not behave yourselves, okay? So just be decent to each other, and we will go from there. All right, so also, if you have any kind of questions, please all cap locks so that it stands out for me, okay? And I do appreciate that. So how was my day? My day was absolutely awesome. People that don't ride have absolutely no idea. They just don't, okay? Any day that you can get out and get on your bike and go put miles on the bike and just decompress is an absolutely awesome day. It is a great release, great stress relief, and I just love riding, period, anyway. So I got to tell you a comment that was in the thing. So the video I just put up like a couple hours ago, I was talking about putting the new pipes on my bike today. And somebody said, and I love this too, because this is the best. This just shows you where people are coming from. And they were like, well, with everything that's going on, you thought it was so important to put new pipes on your bike? Isn't there more important things you could be doing? And I'm thinking, and I replied, and I said, have you even watched what I've been doing here at the homestead? Because the last time I checked, I've been kind of busy getting things squared away because of everything that is going on. So, I find that very, very amusing. Snap judgments of people, it's unbelievable. So one of the reasons that you have louder pipes on your bike, loud pipes save lives. It lets people know that you're there. That's part of what they say, but that's not why I got new pipes on my bike. I wanted my bike louder. It just sounds so much cooler. And that's me being 100% honest. Now, as a byproduct of that, will it make people more aware that I'm there? Sure. But I definitely wanted that bike louder. So that's, like I said, I absolutely it was just so cool. I stopped for gas, and like when I left the gas station, it was just, I don't know, it's very, very fun. It's fun. It's just fun. Like I said, if you ride, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have never ridden before, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So, but that's just, so it's a passion that cannot be explained. And if you ever get that opportunity, you want a taste of what freedom is, true freedom, ride. I don't care what you ride. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a Harley. I like Harleys, so that's why I have a Harley. So, but you ride whatever you feel like riding. And as long as you're on two wheels, it's like when I first started riding, I had no idea about like the wave. No, so anybody that doesn't know, when you're on a motorcycle and you're riding and there's a person coming the other way, you two fingers generally, and you put it out, your hand out like that, your left hand out, okay? Because that's the hand that's not on the throttle. So you put your left hand out, and it's called the wave. And it's basically you're wishing them well and hope that they have a good way or a good ride and that they stay safe. So that's basically, it's a biker thing. Anybody that rides a motorcycle, it doesn't matter what kind of motorcycle you ride, people give each other the wave. All right. That is something that I think is really, really cool, because that's that camaraderie with bikers as well. You know, and it's just, I always thought that was really, really a cool thing, because I never paid any attention to anything like that because I never rode one before, you know. But when I started riding, you know, and then it came part of it, it's just really cool. So anyway, that being said, let's get into the topic, right? Okay. I will just go on. Trust me. It's just what I do. But all right. So who can you trust? All right. Can you trust the media? Absolutely not. There's no way you can trust the media, because they have an agenda. They have their own things that they're trying to do. Can you trust every YouTuber that is out there? Hey, Harshman Hills, just dropped in for a second. Thank you very much for the donation. I do appreciate that, and hope you're doing well. And thanks for stopping in. The media has an agenda. It's not your agenda. They don't care about you. Can you trust every YouTuber out there that are giving you, do you think they're all giving you credible information? Probably not, okay? There's a lot of people coming out there that have their own agenda. They're trying to push whatever they're trying to push. So they're not always going to be factual with their information, okay? There is a tremendous, tremendous amount of misinformation going around on the internet, and that's not going to change. It's not going to change. A lot of it depends on what angle people are coming from. Okay, people that are coming from a religious angle have a different take on everything that's going on. I'm sure that a lot of you have heard, "Oh, we're in the end times. The end of the world is here. This is the end times." Well, all through history, there have been periods where people said, "Oh my God, this is the end times." You don't think that in the United States? Let's talk about this real quick. Civil War. Now, at that time, what was going on, you don't think religious people said, "Oh my God, this is the end of the world," because of what was happening? Especially if you lived in a certain town that was being attacked or under attack, and the craziness that was happening and the death and the dying. Absolutely, people were thinking, "Oh my God, this is the end of the world." World War I, World War II, okay? I guarantee you there were people going around at those times and saying, "Oh my God, this is the end of the world as we know it. This is this is the book of Revelation being revealed before us," okay? So again, depending on whatever angle people are coming from, that's how they're interpreting what's going on. It started with the sky is falling. JJ just said, yeah, exactly. Oh my, yeah. And so, you're always going to have people that are going to say whatever is happening is a worst case scenario. Hey, Prepper Chris 1, did you see the BLM transgender march? I did not see that. Again, I don't have television, so thank goodness for that. Dan G, I was told the end of the world was June 21st today. Oh, well, there's always going to be somebody. I don't know if you remember, there was a group that had like this whole compound and this huge thing, and they had a date when they said the end of the world was coming. And thank you both for the donation as well, by the way. So they were saying that the end of the world was coming, right? And so what they did is they got all their people into this compound behind locked door or gates. They had tractor trailers just full of food and supplies and everything else. Well, that particular date came and went, because realistically, if you go by the Bible, what the Bible says, no man knows the hour of day of my return. So nobody knows. People can speculate. They can say they think they know, whatever. Nobody knows, okay? So, again, it's like everything is open to interpretation. So, realistically, who can you trust? Now, number one, you better trust yourself. You better trust your own common sense in being able to analyze the situation and look at what's going on. Read through the BS that we're being given on a daily basis. You read through the nonsense that's being pushed out there by the media and a lot of other people as well. Hopefully, and I'm saying hopefully on the rest of this, hopefully you have people that are in your family and in your friends and those type of people that you can trust. Hey, L. Gibson, somehow got dropped off of the sub, back now. Love the pipes. Keep leather up and rubber down always. Thank you very much. And that is absolutely the goal. Yeah, you know what? YouTube, okay, so thank you so much for the donation as well. So YouTube, of course, we had that little thing where I lost about 400 subscribers, because everybody got their butt hurt and, offended. So we had to get rid of those people. They had to leave. So, because their feelings were hurt and they needed to go into a safe space. But now YouTube is back to what they normally do, which is a slow degradation of, the subscribers. So they will take subscribers like yourself, L. Gibson, and they will unsubscribe you. And you're going, well, what's going on? Why isn't he making videos? And then always make sure, if you're not seeing notifications of my videos coming up or my live streams, I haven't gone anywhere. I am here. I'm not going anywhere. Definitely check back. Make sure you're getting your notifications with your bell icon button. People have had their bell icons changed on them. So definitely keep an eye on that, and just make sure that you're still, subscribed as well, because that is also part of the game that is being played, and that's what they do. So why? It is a great question. I always wondered that as well. What is the motivation? Doesn't it make more sense to have people put out a positive message, try to be decent? Why wouldn't you want that to be out there? Well, probably because they don't want people to know what the truth is, and people that are wide awake and their eyes are open, and hopefully more people are going to wake up. They don't want that, so they try to keep you pushed down. So that's part of the game as well. So again, I've talked about this before. Life is a game. We're just playing in it. Okay. And as soon as you can realize that it is a game, it makes things so much easier, and it makes you realize you just have to play the game. It's unfortunate just the way that it is. Okay. But, getting back to what we were talking about, with having family and friends and hopefully other group members that you have in your group, having people that you can rely on, that's really important. You got it, because here's what people really don't understand. In a post-event, worst case scenario post-event, you are going to have times where you're going to be tired, you're going to be exhausted, you're going to need to sleep. You cannot stay up 24 hours a day, okay? With everything that needs to be done, there's always going to be work that has to be done, but you also still have to get your rest as well, or otherwise you're going to get sick, and your body's going to break down, and you're going to have issues, okay? You don't think clearly when you're not getting enough sleep, in those type of things. So having people that you can rely on, that that if I go to sleep, they're not going to kill me in my sleep and take my stuff, that's huge. So having people that you can trust around you, that is huge. If you have loose affiliations with people that you have fostered a relationship with, that is huge, because you build that trust. That's important, hugely, hugely important. I'm going to tell you what. So I wanted to talk about this too, and I thought that this was amazing. So, hey Andrew Poole, thank you very much for the donation, or Poole. I'm sorry, Poole. Thank you so much for the donation. I do appreciate it. So this was something that I just yesterday. I sat down last night. Netflix has this on there. It's a series called Alone, and what they do is they take 10 people, and they put them in different locations, in whatever the location may be. And the last one, whoever is the last one to survive or not tap, they call it tapping out. The last person to not tap out wins $500,000. Okay. So they get these survival experts that will take up this challenge. Freedom is not free, 1776. Trust but verify. Trust is earned, not given. You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. That is a great statement. Thank you for saying that, and thank you very much for the donation as well. Yes, trust is absolutely earned. It is not given. It's a great statement. I like that. Thank you so much for saying that. And again, thank you for the donation as well. So I was watching this show last night, and I watched 3 episodes. All right. Prepper Chris 1. Do you know how to read gun scope numbers? Help. Trying to zero it in. What you got to do is, it's kind of hard to explain just by talking about it, because you got to change the dials as you're zeroing in your gun. It's kind of difficult to kind of really just tell you. I can't really just tell you. I would have to see what shooting pattern you were doing and how to adjust it, because The one side adjusts up and down, and the other one adjusts side to side. So if you're shooting, probably the best way to explain it is if you're shooting and you're hitting high of the target, you adjust the one down a couple of clicks, and you might be going the wrong way. So you take a second shot. If it's still even higher, then you've adjusted the wrong way. You would need to readjust the other way. So your scope has two things to turn, on the top and on the side. The side is going to go side to side. The top one is up and down. I guess that's the best way that I could explain that. Okay. What channel is that show Alone on again? Oh, Netflix. It's on Netflix, guys. If you go on Netflix, it popped up for me, and I'm like, oh, this looks pretty cool. And so it was season 6. So I'm watching season 6 right now. So there's a lot more of it I'm going to watch, but I wanted to talk about this because I thought it was so important. And I've just watched 3 episodes so far. So it starts out with 10 people, all these survival experts, and they're out there. And in this particular one, they put them up in Canada. They put them up in Canada into a very remote, unforgiving region of Canada, and they start them out like in the fall, but it was like where, like by September, they're having snow up in that area. Okay. And they can take 10 things with them. Okay. Hey, Nikki Johnson, we are superhumans. Look how many end of the world we will have all survived since Y2K, still under the bed. Haha. Yeah, exactly. You're always going to have, it's amazing. Thank you so much for that donation as well. It's amazing that you're going to have so many people have these predictions of when the end of the world is coming. Realistically, my prediction is there will be some kind of event eventually. Okay. Who knows what it's going to be? It's going to be a game changer. Absolutely. And then all bets are off at that point. But anyway, I want to get back to this show because I thought this was really cool. And I want to talk about the first 2 people that dropped out of the show, because I've only seen 2 people have dropped out since I started watching. But they can take 10 things with them. They're allowed to take 10 items with them. They can't take a gun, but like they can take a bow, fire starter, those type of different things. And so they have, a tarp or whatever the case may be. And they have all these, wire to make snares. There's a lot of choices of things that they can take with them. So they take 10 things, they drop that person off by themselves, and now they have to survive. So absolutely all of them had a knife and a hatchet. I don't think there was one of them that didn't have a knife and a hatchet. Okay. So, or a tarp. I think they all had tarps as well. But anyway, so they start them out. Okay. And the first guy that had to tap out. Now, I want you to think about this. And so I'm watching this show, and I'm watching it from a perspective if this was a worst case scenario. What show? It's called Alone, Alone, and it's on Netflix. So if you go to Netflix, if you have Netflix, you click on it, and it says Alone. Okay. So the first guy that tapped out, because I got their walkie-talkie things that they can call in and say, I'm done, I'm tapping out, okay? So the very first guy that tapped out, this is what happened to him. He's walking, stepped wrong, fell backward on his back, and ended up breaking something in his leg or his knee or something, okay? And so now they're filming themselves too, just so you know. They have like 65 pounds of camera equipment, and they're filming themselves. And so he was sitting there on the ground, and he's like, I know something's broken. He goes, I heard it go, so I know I broke it. And he was like in a lot of pain. So we called in. They had to come in, and they had to take him out. 4 days into the show. 4 days, and he was out. Now, he was 55 years old. All right, pretty decent physical shape. Gone, out of there. Okay. The second guy that tapped out on the 8th day. All right. And the second guy, what he tapped out was he had got a, oh my God, what did he get? He had shot something with his bow, and like not a possum, but whatever the animal was, he had got it. He cooked it up. He ate it. and he got violently sick. I don't know if he got worms with it or whatever the case may be. And he was a big, burly dude. I mean, he was probably 250 pounds, solid muscle, big dude. And he got sick, had diarrhea for like a day and a half, throwing up, dehydrated. He tapped out. Okay. So now it's up to like day 18, and there's still 8 contestants left. And I'm going to tell you what, there's a lady on the show. I freaking think she's awesome. She's a little tiny petite lady. She's from California. Lot of skills. And it's amazing watching her, because it's just like, whatever, but it's really, really cool to watch these people trying to survive, trying to get food, trying to, go from there. So, but the thing is, now, I don't care how big, I don't care how strong you are, I don't care what skill set you have. A mechanical injury will take you out in a post-event. You fall, you twist an ankle, you anything like that, and you break a leg or an arm or something, that's a game changer, an absolute game changer, okay? Also, you eat the wrong thing, okay? Now, you got to realize we're very, very spoiled in our society. We're so used to having everything. Yeah, it's not Naked and Afraid, though. It's not Naked and Afraid, but I know it's a different show, but this is totally different. Anyway, the premise of it, it's so realistic, because basically you let people go, you let them do what they're going to do, and then if they give up. Now, a huge part of it, from just watching what I've watched so far, 18 days in, is the mental part. Mentally, if people give up and if they quit, they're done. Okay? Because what will happen is, long before you get to that point where you go, I'm going to tap out, you're working yourself up to that point. You're working yourself up. And that's, it's amazing. It's an absolute amazing thing to watch. So there was one gentleman on the show, and I thought this was there was a couple different things that I saw that was really, really neat. So this guy, is at this one part where he was at, and he was really, really hungry. So he'd been trying to fish. All these people were trying to fish because they were on this big lake, okay? Some with success, some not with success. But so he was trying to fish, and he wasn't getting any fish. Well, he had like one squirrel in the area where he was at, and it was like it was kind of like his buddy. So about day 10, he goes, I'm starving. I'm going to kill that squirrel, and I'm going to eat that squirrel. And he did. He got the squirrel, and he ate the squirrel. And then the next day, and this kind of shows you the emotional breakdown of people, okay? So the next day, he's on camera, and he's crying, and he goes, I feel so bad that I killed that squirrel. It was like my only companion that I have. So the loneliness, he was alone, and that was like his only companion, and he killed it to eat, to survive. It's amazing to watch. So I think that it's a really good judge of how things will go in a post-event. Like I said, again, even around here, like I got my compound set up, let's say I got everything exactly the way I want it to be up here. But if I take a bad step or fall and I break a leg or I break my arm or I hurt myself really, really bad, and if I don't have the help to help me to get better and to, recover, I'm screwed. And so is everybody else. So again, that's why I really think that it is so important that we look at every aspect when it comes to prepping. Okay? Psychologically, having companions, having people that you can work with, having people that you can rely on is going to be huge. I think it's not thought about a lot. But when I see the different things like this, it's amazing. Brian Flake says, I enjoy how the show mental struggle causes that often left out of a survival skills. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing to watch the mental struggle, because it's overcoming. Okay, it's overcoming that being by yourself. Number one. Number two, it's being desperate to get food, to survive, to do what's necessary to survive. And it's funny because now there was a guy that, okay, so another guy, he caught a fish, which was great. Got the fish, was a lake trout. He got that. He cut it up. He was eating that, and then it was like a week later, he caught another fish. Well, the second fish was a female who was pregnant, so he knew how to get the eggs out of it. So he had a big bag of the eggs. Well, he was eating the eggs raw. Wasn't thinking, okay, eating the eggs raw because he was like, oh yeah, these are really good for you and you can eat them raw, like people eat caviar, right? So what happened was he ended up getting sick. But the thing is, he was fortunate. He was sick for like a day, and then he started feeling better. But something like that, eating something wrong or something bad, it will take you out in a post-event. Dysentery, and I've talked about that, drinking tainted water, all those things, it's all part of it. Follower of Jay said, Alone is a great show too. I agree. Yeah, I literally stumbled upon it on, like I said, Netflix, and it's season 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch season 6, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to start, because they put them in different scenarios, different places. But I guess this particular one that they're doing right now is the harshest environment that they've put these people in. And it's amazing. It's amazing to watch. And like I said, again, I'm looking at it absolutely from a prepper mindset. Hey, Mountain Girl, great channel, and we can never learn enough. It's peace of mind being prepared for any and all scenarios. You're absolutely correct. Thank you very much for the donation as well. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. And that's the whole thing. We can think and try to think of all the scenarios of what we can do and where we're going to go and how we're going to react and stuff like that. Until you're dropped down in that situation. And these people, what you got to remember, these people in this show alone, these are very, very skilled people. The average person has zero skills, none whatsoever. And so they're completely unprepared. They have no idea what they're doing. They can't survive out in the wild because they've never had to. Okay, now we throw in the factor of every other lunatic, in the city and suburbia also not being prepared. And what happens then? Okay, I mean, it's just something that needs to really be taken into consideration. I've talked about this before a little bit when I said I believe that you will see small towns close in and take care of their own. And they'll do it to survive. Where I live up here, up in the hills where I'm at, I honestly believe that the neighbors will work together because it is in our best interest to work together. All right. I have my group that's coming here, and we're absolutely going to work together. I have networked out with other people as well. And so I think that's important as well. What are we at? 977 in the chat, guys, and we got 371 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I absolutely would appreciate it. And thank you. It shows support for the channel, and it also really helps with the algorithms. So I appreciate that ahead of time. Thank you very much. Would you eat a tarantula to survive? I absolutely have no desire to eat a tarantula. And again, the reason, follower of Jay, I do what I do is because so I don't have to eat a tarantula. Would I eat worms? Absolutely, I would eat worms. Okay. There's a lot of things that I would eat, but hopefully I don't ever have to eat a tarantula or any kind of spider or anything like that. Again, if you have the skills in nature itself, especially depending on what time of year it is, nature will provide. There's all kinds of food out there if you know what you're looking for. All right. So there's a lot that can be eaten that can help you. There's a lot of naturally growing plants that can give you a ton of medicine that we have no idea of because we're not taught these things anymore. Again, knowledge is power. We talked about that. The more that you can help yourself, the more that you can learn what works and what doesn't work, especially in nature, it's really, really important. Having food everywhere, must learn. Exactly. Annette Boyle just said that. Yep, food is everywhere, all over the place. You just got to know what you're looking for. And people will walk around and they'll starve to death and they'll walk by food and not realize that it's food. Just like with dandelions. Dandelions are a great source of food. And every part of the dandelion can be eaten, but people look at them as a weed. And they kill them out of their yards so that their grass is just nice and green with no dandelions. That's just, it is what it is. And then when they cut their grass, they bag up their grass, not letting that grass go back into the soil to make it more fertile, make the ground more fertile. And they bag that up and they throw that out. It's amazing to me when watching people, what they do. In the fall, what do people do? They rake up all their leaves, they put them in bags out at the curb, and then the town or the city come and get those leaves. But what the town or city does with those leaves is they compost those leaves and turn that into great soil. You're basically giving something that's going to help your own yard in or your own garden. You're giving that away. I never did. I always chopped them up with a lawnmower and let them go right back into the earth, because that's what you should be doing. Backwoods ingenuity. Good to invest in a book on edible wild plants. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much for the donation as well. Yeah, I mean, again, guys, the more knowledge that you can obtain. And again, have I read every book that I have? Absolutely not. I right now, I don't have time. Why don't I have time? Because I am working on other projects. I'm trying to get things done. Right now, for me, I'm going to tell you what, my push is to get as much squared away, as much done as I possibly can. When an event happens, we will act, we will not react. But the more that I have in place, the more that I have done. Like I said, when we're going to talk about this real quick too, and I want to make sure, because somebody had made the comment about this. I have 12 face cord of wood coming. This week, some point this week, I'm going to have 12 face cord of wood delivered. And I had somebody say to me, well, why would you have wood delivered? You can go out and you got woods all around you. That wood is free. You can go out and just get that wood. So let's talk about that. We're not even going to talk about your time, the cost of your time. All right. We're not even going to talk about that right off the bat. We're going to talk about other things first, but we'll come back to that. So I buy a face cord of wood, or I go out into the woods. So first of all, I got to have a chainsaw. So I've had to purchase a chainsaw someplace. I better make sure I have, at least a backup chain, at least one backup chain. So you have your chainsaw that comes with a chain. You have your backup chainsaw. You probably should have an extra bar just in case you have issues with that. So now you're purchasing that. Now I'm going to have to go out and I'm going to have to purchase the mixture that I got to mix my gasoline with, plus go buy my gasoline, and I got to go out and buy bar oil. So I got to buy that as well. So that's just for the chainsaw. Okay. So now I have that. I go out into the woods. I cut the trees down. I have to buck them up. Now I got to get them back home. All right. So maybe because of that, I have to have my four-wheeler with a trailer on it. And so I have to get everything loaded up into the trailer. I have to bring it all back home. Now I got to have the four-wheeler, got to have the cart to bring all that wood back. Now, if I'm not splitting it by hand, I'm going to have a wood splitter. So I have to buy a wood splitter. I have to, get gasoline for the wood splitter and do maintenance on it whenever issues happen, new spark plugs, whatever the case may be. Okay. So now got to do all that. So I split it all up, and now I got to stack it all, right? Now, what is your time worth? Think about that. What is your time worth? So how long is it going to take me to do all those things? It's going to take me a good amount of time. It's time that I can use to go and do something. Oh, yes, and somebody, there you go. Lori Austin said in chaps as well. So let's talk about safety equipment. So if I'm running my chainsaw, I'm going to need my chaps. I'm going to need a good pair of steel-toed boots in case the chainsaw slips into my boot. So I want to have steel-toed boots. I want to have a good pair of gloves. I'm going to want to have eye protection and possibly a helmet. Some people wear them, some people don't. I generally don't, but that's just me. Hey, Gigi, you could get injured by tripping using that chainsaw. Exactly. The chances of injury with the chainsaw as well. Now, in a worst-case scenario, and you can't buy wood anymore, should you have that equipment? Absolutely, yes, you should, because then you can go out and do what you need to do. You should know how to use the chainsaw, absolutely, okay? But, again, your time, the money to have all these stuff, if you look that up, it is cheaper in the long run to go ahead, buy your wood, have it delivered, and all you got to do is stack it. That's what I'm looking at. Now, Have I processed wood? Have I cut down trees? Have I bucked them up? Have I used the wood splitter and done all that type of stuff? Have I used the maul axe? I've done all of it, okay? I find cost effectiveness, it's cheaper for me to go ahead. Oh, and we're not even going to talk about wear and tear on your equipment as well. We're not even going to factor that in. But all those things, if you look at it, it's cheaper to buy the wood. Now, in a worst case scenario, I'll do what I have to do. Hey, Prepper Chris 1. Oops, hold on a second. I wanted to read your comment. If you have dandelions, you have low NPK plus loosens the dirt. Yep, exactly. L. Gibson, been here 10 years. Neighbors showed me I have native spinach on my land. Harvested 12 1-gallon bags now in the freezer. Yay! See there, that's it. And again, now you learned something. You got that native spinach. There's food free, and that's going to be good for you. Again, the more we can learn, guys, it's better overall for everything. But again, you have to look at cost effectiveness of what you're doing. And again, what's your time worth? How many hours is it going to take you to go out and get that wood and process that? Now, is it a great workout? Is it good for your body? Sure it is, okay? But just stacking wood is good for you as well, and you can focus your energy and your time onto other projects. What I'm looking at this point, because I've processed wood, you guys know, you've seen what I've done here. Anybody that's watched the show long enough or the channel long enough knows that, I've processed plenty of wood out of here, okay? But again, it's like for me right now, cost effectiveness wise, I'm going to order wood. I'm going to have it delivered. He drops it off. I pay him for the wood, and then I just have to stack it. And guess what? When he comes this week and drops off that 12-face cord, I'm probably good to go. I want to see how much room that takes up in the woodshed, and we're going to go from there. And, it may be that I need, I don't need to at that point, but I may want to get more. If I have the room in the woodshed, I will get more. And that's how I'm going to do it. And that's just, you have to prioritize. Prioritizing is a huge thing as well. What's a priority? So I want to be ready for winter. I want to have that stuff squared away. I don't want to wait till the fall, because what if something happens in July, SHTF event happens in July. My plan was to do the wood in the fall. Now that goes out the window. Now that becomes a priority, because that's how I'm going to try to do everything that I need to do and be ready to survive that winter. And again, it really depends on what part of the country you're in and what your dreams are and what you're trying to get done. Okay. But those are things to think about. You would save the trees for when SHTF anyway. Exactly. Linda Goodman basically is saying what she just said was, you want to save your trees that you have in your own property and surrounding you for when SHTF happens anyway. That's a great point. I wasn't even thinking of that one, but that's also a great point. Why cut down my own trees now when I don't have to? Right? They're going to still be there. SHTF happens, I can go out here and I can process anything I want then at that point. And so, we got plenty of trees. But again, if I'm going out every year and I'm dropping 5-6 trees, just as an example, it's probably going to be more than that, but that's an example. You're going to use up your resources. And then even if you're replanting, how many years is it going to take for those trees to replenish? Now, if I leave my trees alone, they're going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And, and we can go from there. So that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. But, I have a log splitter and all that. Hold on a second. Will you spend $2,000 before your equipment? The risk of getting hurt is huge. You can buy a lot of wood for $2,000. Stephen Chrissy just said that. Yep, you're right. And that's exactly, and that's the point. That's the point. You can get hurt. You're going to go picking up those rounds. Anybody watch me split wood that I did myself, and I had those big rounds, and I'm picking up those big rounds and putting them on the wood splitter. You can get hurt. And again, why take that chance if you don't have to? And again, I can focus my time and my energy on other things. And that's what I really want to try to do with everything that I'm doing here at the homestead. And again, when SHTF happens, I have all that other equipment anyway. And now it's not all worn out because I've used it every year. If I have something here that I got to buck up or cut down or whatever, it's there for me and I can use it, which is nice. So again, you really have to utilize your time the best of your ability of what you have. Makes more sense to do it a certain way. If you think about it logically, it just makes more sense to buy it right now. So that's why I wanted to be at that point. Hey, Mountain Girl, I'm having mine delivered this year too, saving what I have on 6 acres. I literally just made this comment a few moments ago. LOL. That's awesome. Yeah. So you save your own wood that you have on your 6 acres, and have somebody else, let them do all the hard work realistically, and then they dump it off, and then you just have to stack it up, and it's so much better. I can't wait. When he delivers it, me and Heather will stack that wood up, and maybe we do it over 2 days. I don't know. Depends. We're probably not going to do 12 face cord all at once. Why? Because I don't have to. So if I do like half the pile one day and then half the pile the next day, there's 2 good days of working out, and plus we'll have all that squared away. And that's what it's about. It's being as ready as quickly and as the best you can be. Having 10 face cord left over, which I have right now from last year, that wood is awesome. It's ready to go. And plus we're probably not going to be burning any of that wood until, September, October, in those time frames. So, it's got more time to even get more cured. And then whatever new wood I get now, and see, here's the other thing with, instead of waiting to the fall, okay, think about this too. So I have this wood delivered in June. All right. So it'll go in the woodshed. It'll get stacked up separately from the other wood. I'm going to burn my old wood first. All right. Now, let's say I go through all 10 face cord of my wood. Let's just say that, the wood that I got in there right now, and I go through all of it, and I've used up the last of my wood by February. Let's say February. That means from June to February, that's 8 months. That other wood has had 8 months to sit there. Even though it's already seasoned wood, it's that much more seasoned. So it just makes sense. The sooner you can get your wood done and get it banged out and have it ready to go, the better off you're going to be in the long run. And again, I always think about termites worry. M. Hammer said, no, not really. I don't worry about the termites because, like I said, you're going through that wood. You're going to burn through it in a couple of years no matter what. Realistically, I think we may... At a guess, I think we may last winter have burned maybe 12 face cord of wood, maybe. If that, for the most part, I think that might be it. Lucy Diaz-Cone, will you and your sister be sharing the wood? Actually, no. They will be getting their own wood. So they will have wood over on their side for them. Now, if it was in the middle of winter and they ran out of wood, would I let them use my wood? Of course I would. Okay. But their own place, it's their own responsibility. So they're going to have to buy wood on their own. So termites might be tasty. That's funny. Well, I'll tell you what, you get into your wood pile, you're going to have those delicious little tender mice. Yummy. And there's snakes too. So, we saw a lot of snakes. We have a lot of garter snakes up here. So they're good because they eat the mice, and they eat a lot of the pests. So I like my snakes that we have up here. Bruce Cry says, hey, Ed, what's a face cord down here? We buy wood by the cord. A face cord is 8 foot long, 4 foot high, and you're talking about 16-inch pieces of wood. So it's perfect for fitting that into your fireplace. So it's 4 foot high, 8 foot long. That's a face cord. That's what we go with up here in New York. So dry face cords, $250. Yes, I think it's like 3 face cord or 4 face cord equals a cord. I believe it's one of the two. So if somebody knows, it's either 3 or 4 face cord equals a cord. Face is 1/3 of a cord. Okay, yeah. Okay, James just said that. So yeah, 3 face cord equals 1 cord. So I'm paying $60 a face cord. So I pay for a cord of wood. I'm paying $180. That's what I pay. So So for 12 face cord, I'm looking at $720, and that's where we'll be at. So, yeah, thank you guys for clearing that up. I appreciate that. So that's what I love about this. If I don't have the answer and I ask you guys, there's absolutely somebody on here that knows what the answer is, and that is awesome. And that, again, what is that? That's teamwork. That's working together. That's the best. Let's see. Is that an average per winter? It really depends, Jay, on the severity of the winter. We've had some, like last winter, realistically, we did get a lot of snow, but it wasn't really super cold last winter. So, we didn't, burn as much as we normally would. I mean, we had some cold days, don't get me wrong, but not anywhere near. I've had years where it was unbelievably cold, a tremendous amount of snow, and it all makes a difference. You just never, like I said, you just never know what you're going to get. Some winters are going to be mild. You might get 2-3 mild winters in a row. Like our first year up here, okay? Our first year up here, we had a really mild winter that first year, and I was really thankful for that because we weren't anywhere near ready the way we should have been. Probably 2 years later, we had one of the harshest winters up here that we ever had, and we had a 2-week stretch where we were looking at sub-zero temperatures every day. It was crazy cold that winter. So again, like I said, last winter was pretty mild. We did have a good amount of snow. It snowed a lot, and it snowed early, and then it still snowed late. I mean, you guys saw we had snow. I think we had snow in May. I think so. Yeah, I think we had snow in May. But it was crazy, just crazy. But again, you just never know. So you just have to go with the flow. I'm a big believer in overkill. Okay, big believer in that. Hey, Emily, Emile or Emile? Is that Emily or Emile? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. We'll start. Oh, hold on a second. Let's see what she said here. We'll start by saying sorry. This might derail tonight's topic. If Antifa can take over Capitol Hill, then so we can in Western Canada, where everything we need to survive and thrive in these times. So inviting all preppers. Yeah, you know what? I get you. I do. I think you're going to see as things continue to disintegrate, get worse. Thank you so much for that donation as well, and thank you for that statement. I think you're going to see people band together. I really do, and I talked about this, okay? There's survival in numbers. There's safety in numbers. And if you have a diverse group of people are bringing in different skill sets to your group. You're going to need plumbers. You're going to need electricians. You're going to need carpenters. You're going to need medical personnel. If you can get a dentist or a doctor, that's going to be huge, okay? If you have somebody that can cook really well, that's a huge asset to a group. A good meal that tastes good, that's a huge asset, okay? Having somebody that knows how to mend clothes, somebody that knows how to gather medicinal stuff. I mean, everybody's important, guys. Everybody's important, and I've talked about that again. Older people that maybe can't do a lot of physical activity, but they can watch the young. They can man a radio. They can, do all those type of things. There's a lot of things that older people can do. Veterinarian, exactly. Karen just said that. Yep, exactly. So there's a lot of aspects that there's no way that with just maybe a group of 5 people, you're bringing all those things to the table. And 5 people is not going to survive long term. Again, so what happens if the flu comes in and knocks 4 of those 5 people out of commission for any length of time? What happens then? One person can't take care of everything else. So the more people that you have, the more that you have in your group, it gives you a better opportunity for survival. And again, think about this. Planting season comes, the spring's here. We got to get as much as we can in the ground. If you got 20, 25 people all working together to get out there and to plant and get everything in the ground that you need to get into the ground, watering every day. You have people to go out and gather wild edibles. I'm telling you right now, in a post-event, if we have a post-event tomorrow that happens, and I've said this before, the woods will be hunted dry in no time. There will not be the wild game to go out and get. I'm telling you right now, Absolutely, that's the way it'll happen. So you have to think differently. You have to have a different mindset. Now, should you still put out snares? Should you still, trap? Should you still hunt? Sure, because you might get lucky. And it depends on where you are, too. I mean, if you're way up someplace where there's not a lot of people, the chances are the game is still going to be there. Okay, but again, take what you need. Don't just get greedy and take as much as you want. All right, be smart about things. But we're going to go back to gatherers, growers and gatherers. That's what we're going to turn into. So that's important, really important. So that's what I would encourage everybody to really get into that. And that's why I really talk about gardening so much. Gardening is huge. Knowing what to do, learning how to do it now while it's not a SHTF event. Do you want to think about this? Do you want to put yourself in a situation where now that garden is life or death? If that garden makes it, you're going to survive. If that garden doesn't make it, you're not going to survive. I don't want to put myself in that position because I don't want to put it up to chance, because there's going to be years. It's happened here. I've had some years I had really good tomato crops, okay, for tomato plants. And I've had other years where the tomato plants did crap. You just never know. You just don't know. So again, with everything, I've had the one year I had zucchini and cucumbers out the wazoo. It was unbelievable how they grew that year. But I had a ton of them, and I gave a ton of it away. Okay, but those are good to have. Anything that you're going to have in abundance, you can everything that you possibly can. Really smart way to do it. And again, it just give yourself a fighting chance. That's the important thing. Don't be a victim. And I talked about that as well. Don't ever be a victim. Be smart. Be as ready as you possibly can be, and just do what you have to do. That's just a smart way of doing it. What do we got? 878 in the chat, guys. We're at 516 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I would ask you to do that to show support for the channel. And thank you ahead of time. And again, it helps with the algorithms as well. So I do appreciate that if you would do that. And thank you. Make sure you have a working garden and a backup garden always. Yeah, exactly. Overplant, have excess, because that way, you hopefully have more than enough. Again, in a post-event, you're going to be putting in, way bigger gardens. Any place that you have that you can grow, you're going to be growing. That's the way that you're going to survive. Soil is everything. Making sure you're doing composting, that's important as well. Get a composting barrel, put your scraps, your weeds, all that stuff in that composting barrel. Have worms in there already. All your scraps from your food, like your eggshells, and if you cut up strawberries, I'm going to give that stuff to my birds, of course, but any of that type of stuff, you can put that all into your composting bin, and then you can turn it. You just get a hand crank thing that you can turn it. Do that every day, and you're going to have some great dirt down the road. So you should probably have 2 or 3 different composting bins. And, one year you work on this one, the next year you work on the next one. And it's amazing how much you'll end up getting dirt-wise out of those, and you'll end up with great soil. Oh, we got to do eggs. Okay, so Butcher ST just had his guess there. What's everybody's guess on eggs today? So we'll do that really quickly. I'm sorry, I wasn't even thinking about it. Just kind of going off the rails here. So we'll get everybody's guess. Yesterday we had 13 yesterday. And the 2 days before that we had 11 each day. So, all right, guys, if you were like Christine Carr and said 11 eggs, then you are correct. We ended up with 11 eggs today. So that was our count. So good day for eggs. They've been nice and steady. Red is looking better today, too. She was looking pretty sickly for a couple days. Maybe she just ate something bad. I don't know. But she definitely bounced back. She looked a lot better today, more perky. So I was happy to see that because I like her. She's a good bird. Yep, so that's where we're at with that. But, actually today when I went down to my buddy Randy's, who did the pipes on my bike, I brought him 2 dozen eggs. Greg, up behind me, I gave him 2 dozen eggs today. And Audrey, who lives next door to me, I gave her a dozen eggs today. So I got rid of 5 dozen eggs today, and I still have over a dozen, and I boiled up a dozen yesterday. So we had eggs. I mean, it goes really fast. You end up with a whole bunch of eggs in a hurry. And like I said, I like sharing the wealth, if you will. I enjoy doing that. It's another way of giving back, and because I don't need them. I eat as much as I want. So whatever our needs are first, obviously we're going to take care of our needs first. But with having that ability to have extra, to be able to share and to help somebody else out, I just like doing it. It's just, that's just me. When I do my gardens every year, if I have extra, I give stuff away because, again, it can help somebody else out. So why not, so. Somebody said, Rashina says, backup garden, question mark. What the point she was making is you have your regular garden, and then you have even another garden, if you will, growing more stuff. So you're making sure in a different, like you have your main plot, let's say you have your main garden that you're using. Have extras, little smaller gardens around, and maybe specialize in growing potatoes in one area, or your tomato plants in another area. That's what she's talking about as far as a backup garden goes. There's that old saying, guys, again, Navy SEAL stuff. 1 is none, 2 is 1. So the more backups that you have of things, the better off you're going to be. And so that's important as well. So when will the new chickens start laying? Usually around 6 months. About 6 months old, they will start laying. They're still growing. They're growing in, they're not even close to being full grown yet. So they need some time to get bigger. And then I'll it depends on how many of them are hens too. I'm with looking at them, I think one of them is a rooster for sure, because that one is way bigger than the rest of them. So, but again, we'll see what happens. But chickens get older, maybe they don't lay as regularly, where your younger chickens, like my white chickens that from last year, they were babies last year. I had the 4 regular hens, and then there was 2 roosters, and then we had 5 white hens and the 1 white rooster. Okay, that's what I originally got. I gave one of the roosters away because I didn't want to have 3 roosters, so then we were down to 2 roosters. But the white hens are the youngest hens. And then Patty and John gave me 7 more hens. So we got those hens, and I have no idea how old they are. So they were given to them. So they had their flock, and so they gave us those hens. So again, we got that, and so we added the 6 more chickens this year, the barred rocks, even though one of them is not a barred rock. I'm not sure what kind. I think it might be an Americana, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know how many of them, because it was like you potluck. You take your chances. And even when they sex them and they say, yep, they're all hens, sometimes they're not all hens. So, that's what happened with the white chickens. All 6 of those were supposed to be hens. And obviously Foghorn Leghorn is not a hen. So, again, we're just, they're fun. But I think probably every spring I may add another half dozen chickens, because as the other ones get older and maybe we have to dispatch a couple of them, then that's what we'll do, and we'll just kind of go from there. And you might lose some anyway. So you just don't know. Predator gets in there, you can get your whole flock wiped out really, really quickly. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But again, you have to be prepared for those things. Those things do happen. So, hopefully, so far I've been very fortunate. I have not had a predator get into the hen house. So I'm going to knock on wood as I say that. So, but yeah, it's been great so far. Love listening to a young rooster learning how to crow. Sounds funny. Yeah, Raven62 just said that. Yep. Full of hope. Learn crop rotation for soil quality and furlough. Yes. Yeah, you got to make sure you don't, like, if I grow tomatoes in one bed this year, I will not grow tomatoes in that bed next year. I'll grow something else. And so that's the rotating of the crops too. You don't want to wear your soil out. If you put tomatoes in the same spot year after year after year, you're going to have issues down the road. So you definitely want to rotate it. If you can add more soil in, fertilizer into that area, that's a good thing as well. So that's never a bad thing. What are we at? 859 in the chat, guys. We're at 566 on the thumbs up. I'm going to ask again for another thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. Earthquake happening. Max, stop. Good boy. Sorry. He was having himself a nice scratch. Again, if you would shoot a thumbs up, I would appreciate that. It helps with the algorithms again, and I like to see a good number of thumbs up. So I appreciate that as well. Freaking cats. They're my babies, though. I love them. They're a lot of fun. I love Buddy, though. He's special. He's got a special place in my heart, Buddy does. But I rotate onions or garlic between crops. Oh, there you go. James White just said that. Very good. Nothing wrong with that at all. So, yep, cat quake. And he's going to start again. What are you doing, Max? So anyway, let's see. Yes, we have coyotes in New York. Actually, I was out, follower of Jay, I was out other night, way down in the woods, down this way, because we got some more wooded area down there, a lot more wooded area, a lot more isolated. I had gone outside for whatever, I don't even know what I went outside for, and I could hear the coyotes out there, and they were out, there was a bunch of them. So yeah, we do have coyotes in this area. And I'm going to tell you what, coyotes, it's open game. You see a coyote, you shoot it, because they will kill a lot of your other wild game, and they're a nuisance. So they're definitely. Who is Buddy? Buddy's one of my cats, John. John Kingston asked, who's Buddy? Buddy's one of my cats. He's my cat. He has one white leg, and his other leg is I don't know, brown and gray or whatever. But he's half again as big as a normal sized cat. He's a big cat. So, but he's a good cat. I love that cat. So, donkey. Yeah, having a donkey is definitely a good thing to do. If you have goats, you put a donkey in with the goats, and donkey can be very good for a homestead as well. But the donkey will coyote lives matter. No, they don't, Chris. Coyotes' lives don't matter. But no, silly. So, but a donkey will protect the goats. A donkey will stomp coyotes to death. So yeah, if you have goats and stuff like that, or sheep, or whatever the case may be, you put a donkey in there with them. They are great for security for the herd. Yes. Yep. Somebody said great herd security. Yep. James just put that in there. Yep. So coyotes eat cats. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Coyotes will take a dog, a male dog, and they'll send a female in that's in heat. And if your dog is not fixed, it will lure that dog out, and then the pack will kill that dog, and they'll eat that dog. That's what coyotes will do. Coyotes are absolute pack mentality, like wolves, but they're just, you got to be really, really careful. And if you're out there by yourself, you could become prey. So depending on what the food sources are. So that's something to remember too. Ed, can you water glass your eggs? Oh, excuse me, and they will keep for a year without refrigeration. Yes, I know you can. You can actually also take mineral oil, and if you dip the eggs in mineral oil, they'll 6 to 9 months using mineral oil as well without refrigeration. So those things will work. But like I said, for me, giving my eggs away, I love giving fresh eggs to people. SHTF happens. I'm probably going to have enough people here that whatever daily eggs that we get will probably not be enough. So, that's when it'll change. Up until that point, I will definitely give away eggs. And again, in a worst case scenario, I have another barter item, either be it chickens or eggs or whatever the case may be. So again, that's just how it works. You always have to think ahead. I always think, what advantage is this, that, or the other thing going to give me in a post event? And number one, I want to try to keep things as normal as possible for me and my group, so that transition is not so bad. Again, watching shows like Alone, what we were talking about earlier, that really is an eye opener. And those are survival experts. So I'm telling you what, there's a lot of things that are going to take people out that people are not even thinking about. You have all the skills in the world. You eat something bad or you get tainted water and you end up with dysentery and diarrhea. It will take you out. Absolutely will take you out. So being smart about things is really, really important. Got to be smart. And again, like they're watching that show, two of the women on the show, one of them accidentally put an arrow in the back of her leg, punctured the back of her leg. Another one was cutting something and cut into her finger. So, they're they got a medical bag. So both of them were taking care of that with a medical bag. So, add new barter items, cats. Yeah, right. No, my cats are staying right here. I like my cats. My cats will not be bartered because somebody would probably eat them, and they're not eating my cats. So, and they have a job to do. Their job is to take care of the vermin and everything around here. Hey, Prepper Chris 1. Coyote packs, no joke. They can overtake people mean too. Yeah, they can, and they are mean. So, like I said, any chance you get, if you see one and you can shoot it, you shoot it. So that's what you do with coyotes. I often shoot hawks when they swoop down after my chickens. You know what? You do what you have to do. Yeah, I mean, you got to protect your flock, and that's another thing. Oh, no, add new cats from old cats. Well, all my cats are fixed except for the two babies, the two boys. They're the only ones that are not fixed. All the rest of the cats are fixed. So, so many coyotes here, we don't see any deer. Adirondack camping adventures. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. They will take down deer as well. And then what they'll do also is when the deer are out and they're having their fawns, they will eat the fawns. So that's another thing that you got to think about. I chased a fox with a broom away from my rooster, LOL. And that Boyle just said that. That's cool. Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Foxes, they will try to get there and get into those chickens as well. There's a lot of predators out there. I mean, chickens are literally one of the bottom of the food chain when it comes to animals. They serve a purpose, which is a great purpose, but they need to be protected. And other animals will try to get in there and they'll kill them. Raccoons, fox, fishers, there's so many of them, hawks, so many of them that'll come down there and they'll kill your chickens if you given the chance. So Ireland seems so safe. Yeah. Well, we have we got a lot of stuff here that will kill you if given the chance. I mean, that's just the way it is. Let's see. They're so loaded, the top predator must protect them. Exactly. Let's see. Lisa Bennett said, Ed, check out You versus Wild on Netflix. Hold on a second. Choose your own survival adventure. Oh, I'll definitely have to check that out. I will check that out. Thank you for that information. Let's see. Brian Flakes just said, I grew up in Pennsylvania. We had bears in the yard often. Oh, yeah, we have black bear up in this area as well. Yeah, we have black bears. But generally, black bears, if they're more afraid of human beings than you are of them. The only time a black bear will get aggressive towards a human being, two reasons. One, to protect its cubs. And number two, if it's starving. Then you are definitely food. So those are the only two times really that you have to worry about black bears. But generally, if you shout, make yourself big, and put your arms up and holler, they're gone. They'll run. So, have you ever eaten snake? I have eaten snake, Lucy. It's just another meat. If that's your choice, if that's what you have, I've eaten shark. Shark is, believe it or not, shark is very tasty. I was expecting it to be very fishy, and it wasn't. It was really good. I really did enjoy shark. Um, Yep, if you do not shoot the coyotes, you will not have many game animals to hunt. And again, in a worst case scenario, so here's another thing to think about, guys. In a worst case scenario, if you don't kill your own animals, like your dogs or your cats, to eat, when people will do that, there may be a lot of dogs that get loose, and it really will not take long for them to go back to being feral and packing up. And a pack of dogs can take down a human being as well. So again, those are things people need to think about in a post-event. You're triking through the woods and you think you're all good to go, and you're thinking your biggest concern is other human beings, and the dog pack starts following you or starts really looking to get to you. You could be in trouble in a hurry. And again, those are things to think about. But again, if I had to, I would eat dog. I have no problem with that. If I had to, I would eat cat. But again, because I prep the way that I do, hopefully I'm not going to put myself in that situation where I have to do that. I'm going to try to avoid that as much as I possibly can. So, those are things people need to think about. Yeah, that's why people need to have a carry permit. Exactly. Yeah, because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Have I made any plans for the get-together? Dawn, you know what? The problem is, Dawn, the parks or the main offices are not open. Nothing like that is even open. So you can't reserve a pavilion. They're not going to allow you to reserve a pavilion because they don't want people to gather in groups right now. If they end up opening those things up and I can get a pavilion, I don't care if it's September, we'll do a get-together. As soon as they give us the green light that we can do a get-together, that they're going to rent the pavilions at like Letchworth State Park, I definitely am going to make a reservation, get a pavilion so that we can do a prepper get-together this year. It is not looking promising for this year, I'll be honest with you. I wish that we could have done it. I really wanted to do one this year. So, but we're going to have to see what happens. As they open the state back up, we're still only phase 2. So, if it gets to that point where we can do gatherings, I definitely want to do a prepper get together this year. So, but we're going to have to wait and see. And again, I'm going to try to give you guys as much advance warning as I can. But again, who knows what's going to happen, but it's not looking good for this year, to be honest. So we'll see what happens. But if it's not this year, hopefully things will get back to whatever normal is next year and we can do it, but we'll have to see. There are quite a few wild dogs in our cities right now too. Follower of Jay said, yeah, there absolutely are, because people will abandon their animals and they'll let them go. It's sad. People get that puppy because it's cute, and then when it grows up, then they don't want to take care of it. Having an animal is a responsibility. That animal is counting on you to take care of them. And so I think that's important to do. I mean, now I'll be honest with you, I never anticipated having 8 cats. That was not the game plan. Just kind of how it worked out. And so far, again, let me knock on wood when I say this, no new strays have come here and have decided to adopt us this year. So that's a good thing. Well, guys, we're getting closer to the end here, so we got to do our normal thing that we do. We are Legion because we are many. We are all over the country. We're all over the world. And so we're a huge family, a huge network of people. Where's everybody from tonight? Yeah, 8 cats means no mice. No mice, no chipmunks, no birds, no squirrels. Yeah, exactly. Oregon, Central Ohio, Eastern Kentucky, Linden, Texas, Butler, Kentucky, Chicagoland, Northeast Tennessee, Connecticut, BC, Canada, Las Vegas, Cape Cod, Phoenix, Arizona, Mull, Massachusetts, Long Island, Maryland, Wisconsin, Georgia, Central Florida, London, North Carolina, Buffalo, New York, Liberty Hill, Texas, the UK, We got Indiana, Alabama, Maryland again, Eastern Long Island, coastal South Carolina, the UK again, Oklahoma, Fairbanks, Alaska, very cool. Let's see, Junction, Texas, Pecan, Ohio. Let's see, Hollywood, Florida, Alabama, Jazz. Yeah, okay, you're silly. Jamestown, New York, Michigan, North Central Pennsylvania, Eastern North Carolina. Let's see, Arkansas, St. Louis, Missouri. We got Wisconsin, Australia, very nice. Idaho, Michigan, Fairbanks, Alaska, Oklahoma, Ontario, California, Drought, Central Texas, Central Georgia, Hudson Valley, Massachusetts, Jacksonville, Florida, Ulster Park, New York, Nowhere, Oklahoma, Marquette, Michigan, Wichita, Kansas. We have, Vermont, Los Angeles, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Marshall, Minnesota, Central Indiana, Bellevue, New England, Peterborough, England, very nice. Arkport, New York, just down the road. That's where I bought my bike, Colleen, is that Arkport. Northern Pennsylvania, Low County, South Carolina, Northeast Georgia, Maine, Alabama again. So, guys, again, we're all over the country. We're all over the world. We're this huge network of people. We're this huge family. We're the ones that are awake. And that's the important thing. And a lot of people don't realize the importance of that, but there's a huge significance to that. I really, truly believe that we were awoken for a reason. I really do. And that's why we are awake and ready to, in thinking for ourselves and trying to get ready the best way that we can. And again, if you're brand new to prepping, if you've never prepped before and you're just getting into it, and it seems frustrating and it doesn't seem like, oh my God, I'm not getting enough done, I don't have the time. Again, work at it methodically, a little bit at a time, and it can be frustrating, but before you know it, those supplies that you're getting, it'll end up being more and more and more. Any advantage that you give yourself, any advantage, is a good thing. So to me, again, when you look at the Red Cross and FEMA, and it says 95% of the people in the United States are not prepared for a 2-week disaster. Okay, so think about that. 95% of the people are not prepared for a 2 weeks disaster. So if you only have 2 weeks worth of food and water in your supply, and that's all you've got, let's say you just got that, you got to 2 weeks, that gives you an advantage over 95% of the people in this country. That is an awesome thing. That is a huge advantage. It gives you that early edge. Now, you have to obviously continue past that to work at that to get it better, okay? But if you're just starting out, food and water, priority number one, 2 weeks worth. Then continue to add to your food and water. Continue to add to your other supplies that you're going to need. Lighters. People don't think about lighters, how important lighters are. Matches, fire starters, anything that you can have, all those different things. There's so many things that we need to help us give even a better advantage. The more you can put yourself in a situation that gives you an opportunity to survive. Again, when you look at that show like Alone, these people are trying to survive, and these are the experts. These are people that this is what they do. And you had one tap out after 4 days because they broke their leg. The next guy tapped out after 8 days because he got sick. He ate something bad and he got sick. And it's as easy as that. So all the skills in the world are not going to save you if you don't have some kind of backup system, people to help you, for whatever. Because you know what? Life is going to go on, and the chances of hurting yourself are even going to be more in a post-event because you're going to be a lot more active. Think about this. Most of the people not doing a whole lot, not a lot of physical activity, and then you go from that to now they have to be very physical. Muscles are going to get pulled. There's going to be all kinds of issues, and it's going to be bad. And I'm going to tell you right now, strong-minded people, tough-minded people are the ones that are going to make it through. They really are. So, again, put yourself in a position to have every advantage over other people. And the best advantage that you can get right off the bat, if you're brand new, is that 2-week supply of food and water. Again, it gives you the edge. We're always looking for an edge. I am a crazy prepper. Anybody that watches me knows that I am an extremist of the extreme. I live off grid. My whole thing is set up to be as independent as I possibly can be. So when an SHTF event does happen, it's not a big deal to me because I'm ready. But again, nobody will ever be 100% ready. Nobody. So that's something people need to think about too. There's always room for improvement. Always. Okay. So I want to thank my moderators who continuously and tirelessly do a great job show after show. So thank you very much for that. And what about dumpster diving for preps? Grocery stores throw out much food as they sell every day. You know what? That is something you can do as well. Dumpster diving, garbage picking, getting different things off the side of the road that people are throwing out. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I've done it myself. I've got couches. I have gotten chairs, all kinds of stuff. Garbage. We call it garbage picking. But yeah, a lot of food is thrown out every day. So there's, another thing that you can really look at doing as well. So it's real smart as well. So anyway, I want to thank my moderators who are on here show after show, doing a great job. Thank you to them. So I appreciate them very much. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate that. Remember, guys, we are all in this together. That is important to remember, and I really want to drive that home. With the craziness that's going on right now around the world and everything else, it means more now than ever before. If we network and work together, that is one of the keys that's going to help us all. So please do that. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life, so it's really important that we tell the people that we love every day how we feel. And most work methodically towards your goals. Work methodically towards it, and you will reach your goals. Nobody else can stop you if you do that, okay? So we got it in one take tonight, which is awesome. I'm glad to hear that, which is great. So, again, one last shout out for thumbs up. We're at 646 on the thumbs up. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so. Again, if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that bell icon as well. And thank you for doing that ahead of time as well. I just remember, guys, continue to prep, continue to get ready, stay vigilant. Scary times are ahead. I really believe that. COVID's not over, not by a long shot. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what kind of BS they're feeding you. I don't believe that this is over by a long shot. It is not fake. I will never say it's fake because it is not. It has affected too many people that I know personally. And so, and there's been a lot of people dying of it. So you think it's fake, go talk to some of the people that have died. Go to the nursing homes and talk to the people that work there. They'll tell you the truth. If they have it in that nursing home, they'll let you know what the real deal is. All right. So anyway, guys, I will see you all tomorrow. I hope everybody has a good day. Got a lot to do tomorrow on the homestead. We got about 3 good days of weather, and then the weather's going to get really hot. So I definitely will be taking some time out to ride. Not going to lie, but I'm going to get work done first. So be smart, guys. Get ready, okay? I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.